Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yesterday we saw some decline in the US market. Mainly Nasdaq came off very sharply. This is post Fed uh, minutes which came out yesterday, which had indicated, apart from tapering and then interest rate increase, they had talked about withdrawal of stimulus. So tapering is first to reduce whatever the stimulus they are giving, then interest rate increase, and apart from that, simultaneously they will even looking at withdrawal of whatever the stimulus they had given earlier. So that is indicating that the liquidity from the system will be withdrawn, and that has come off on the equity market and riskier assets, which has been driven by the liquidity to some extent. So that's why US market came off, and even along with that, even Asian markets also came off in India in today's morning. But if we see the if we see the commodity market, that is not showing so much negative. On the contrary, they are showing a positive trend in today's morning trade, wherein aluminum is up by around 2%. That is mainly driven by some reports from the large house that the deficit in the aluminum market in the current year is likely to be higher than what was earlier expected, and that has driven the aluminum prices in today's trade. Apart from that, copper is down by around 0.7%, but iron ore is up by around 3%, and steel is also up by around 1%. Oil is more or less same. No doubt yesterday it went up and then again came off. So it is at around $80, which was same time last yesterday also it was around $80. So after continuous run up of quite a few days, we may see some profit booking in today's trade. So now I'll request technical team to take up from here.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I will start with the derivative part first. So as per yesterday's derivative data, we have seen that the major OI positions have getting added up between 17,500 to 17,900 strike. But as per today's scenario, as we are seeing as per the SGX, we are witnessing that SGX is almost 170 points down. Hence, we have recovered 20-30 points from the morning trade. So overall scenario, as we look into the as per the OI positions, we are seeing on the downside that 17,700 and 600 strike is showing a supportive zone as per the OI positions. On the higher end, 18,000 strike is still holding highest call writer positions. So once 18,000 strike gets shifted on the upper front, then we might expect the rally again to be continued. So some sort of profit booking might be witnessed in the second half once Nifty manages to take support between 17,700 to 17,750 level. Then again, we might witness a buying momentum into the market. Um, Once Nifty takes support around 17,700 and 750 levels, and after that, once Nifty comes again above 17,850 level, then we might witness that yesterday high can also be broken above 17,850 level once Nifty manages to trade in today's trading session. Only cautious sign we have seen in yesterday's trading session is India VIX. India VIX yesterday came up almost around 7%, which gave closing at 17.23 level. So once if India VIX goes above 18.5 level, then we might witness the profit booking to extend and Nifty to go below 17,700 level also. So keep watch on India VIX side by side the index level. As per the PCROI is trading at a favorable rate. Yesterday it gave closing at 1.56 level. So PCROI is also showing a positive strength. While the another part is FI. FIs are continuously into buying from last 4 days. So all the data points except India VIX are showing positive strength. So currently market scenario looks positive. Only we might witness a profit booking for a day or next 1 to 2 days. So hold your long position with a strict stop loss of 17,700 level. Once the Nifty gives breakdown below 17,700 level, and another support for the Nifty would be 70,500 to 450 zone. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Hello. Yeah, thank you, Amit. See, in technically, Nifty trading near the resistance zone. Upside immediate resistance place around 17,970 and 18,000 in upside. Today we expect gap down open, and Nifty's next important support zone is 17,800. If Nifty break that level, then we expect further pressure towards 17,700, 17,600 at downside. Bank Nifty also trading near the resistance zone, and their resistance come around uh, 38,000 in upside. Immediate support place around 37,500. If Bank Nifty break that level, then we expect further profit booking in Bank Nifty. Comes around 37,150 and 36,700 at downside. Nifty Finance also trading near this resistance zone, and that's come around upside is 18,200 and 18,218 upside. Next important support place around 18,000, and below that 17,900 is the next support zone. So all three index trading near the resistance zone. So we expect some profit booking at higher level. And we see some trading towards the next important support zone, all three index. Stock specific, we expect some positive momentum in banking. Uh, ICICI Banks looks positive at current level, but today we expect some first half is some retracement in all banking stock, and then again we see some positive momentum. And Indigo looks negative at current level, so we can expect some pressure in Indigo. That's it for technical. Fundamental guy can carry.
Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, Spandana Spurti, the MFI company, declared its Q2 results, which were bad. After their MD had differences with the PE investor Kedara Capital, she was made to resign in November, which led to disruption in the normal functioning of the company, and thus the result was delayed. Credit cost for quarter 2 was at all-time high for at 229 crores, almost 12% credit cost. Gross NPA has increased quarter on quarter from 4.6% to 6.1%. And even before MD's exit, the performance of the company was weak, and one should avoid the stock for the time being. RBL Bank quarter 3 business update was also weak. Advances grew by 5% year on year and 3.5% quarter on quarter. Although on face of it, 3.5% sequential growth looks fine, but if we dissect it, the retail advances were flat, and entirely this growth has come from the wholesale side. And also, a couple of days back, they had already declared their deposit numbers, which had declined by 3% quarter on quarter. So one should avoid RBL Bank as well. Thank you.
So apart from that, yesterday we talked to the management of Godavari Power, and the basic indications are that in current quarter, that is the Q3, the results is likely to be declining. Though Q2 declined from Q1, which was the peak quarter, and further it is likely to show some decline in Q3 as well. The major impact will be coming from decline in pellet prices, which were on an average down by around 2,000 to 2,500 rupees. So the major profit which Godavari Power derive is from pellet sales, and that is likely to show some decline. And apart from that, the decline will also be on account of increased coal prices, which will be there in this quarter. So that will have a higher cost impact as well. And apart from that, even the manganese ore, which is their raw material for ferroalloy, has also shown some upturn in the last quarter. The average price are higher as compared to last quarter. So that will increase the cost there as well. So in all, quarter on quarter, there are some negative impact, and one positive which will be there is the volume. Last quarter, the volume of pellets were quite low, and which is likely to increase in this quarter from around 3.5 lakh ton to almost around 5.5 to 6 lakh ton. Last quarter being rainy season, the volumes are generally low. So the all these negative will be somewhat compensated by the increase in volume. So but in all, the EBITDA, absolute EBITDA and EBITDA per ton both will be declining quarter on quarter. So near-term outlook based on the results seems to be soft, and this is even applicable to the other secondary steel companies like Prakash Industries, Shyam Metalic and all. So all these companies will also see similar type of trend. So better to avoid secondary steel shares before the results. After that result, quite possible there could be some revival. The long-term Godavari Power is trying to increase the production of power plant, that is solar power plant for captive use. So they had planned around 100 megawatt of captive power plant in main company and around 70 megawatt for their ferroalloy company. So that is likely to show substantial improvement in the cost profile, but that will be in somewhere in the towards the end of first half of the next year. So that is bit away, not immediately. So that is likely to benefit, and one need to see how the pellet price is moving from here, and that will determine the price, share price of Godavari Power as well. Today morning, Class 8 truck sales figure has come in North America. That has declined quarter on quarter, year on year, substantially by 56%, though it has increased by around 135% quarter on quarter, month on month. But the point is, last month, that is November month, was a bit exceptional, and where the sales dropped sharply to around 9,688. Whereas consistently the sales were coming, consistently sales were declining from around 40,000 in the month of Jan to gradually coming down every month to around 24,000 in October. November month was a bit exceptional, but this month is again showing, if we compare it with October, decline from 24 to around 22,800. So consistently the figures of new order booking of Class 8 truck is showing decline. So this may act a bit negative for Bharat Forge and even Ramakrishna Forging. Then on Saturday, we have a result of Avenue Super Smart. The Avenue Super Smart is likely to show improved result. We had already seen that the company has announced sales for the third quarter, and that has shown growth of 22%. So half of the result has already been declared. The key thing to be watched is the EBITDA margin. And the margins are likely to show a positive trend. The expectation is that the company is likely to report 10% EBITDA. Last quarter it was 8.8, and last year same time it was around 9.3. So overall EBITDA is likely to grow by around 30% year on year, which is quite positive. So the result is likely to be good, and but the valuation seems quite stretched at around 118 times FY23 earnings. Then Indiabulls Real Estate has yesterday uploaded one presentation which is giving detailed information of embassy assets as well and their value as well. So that shows quite positive asset book of embassy for the future, and considering the dilution with the merger of embassy, the net equity market cap will work out to around 17,500 crores at a CMP of around 162 rupees. Against that, the asset value as of now is around 27,000 crore. That is including current and even future assets. So there has to be some discount which need to be given to that. And apart from that, future rental income they had projected at around 4,400 crores. So that is also likely to give very good asset value of rental assets. So in all, one side of the balance sheet, that is asset they had given, but the other side, that is liability. A loan figure they had not given yet in presentations, but whatever looking at the asset side, it looks quite positive. So we feel that this will act as positive for Indiabulls Real Estate today. So that's all from us. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.